Hey troops, GeneralJSmith here, back with my first LEGO Star Wars 2016 Rogue One set review. To start off this new line of Rogue One set, I am back with a construction figure, K-2SO, set number 75120, ages 9 to 14, comes with 169 pieces, and is going to be retailing for £20 or $20. So as with many of the lines I have done in the past, I am doing one of the construction figures. It was a bit of a balance between this or the Dark Trooper, both of which I think are very cool, but just by a little bit, I decided to get this because I just think the mechanical design really does work well for construction figures. Now, I'm not going to talk too much about it in this particular segment because before we review it, we're of course going to have to build it. So, hopefully it won't take that long. I mean, construction figures generally don't take that long, apart from General Grievous, which took like forever. Let's go now and build K-2SO. Initial reactions after the build, he did take a little longer than expected, but that's mostly because of the technique in this section, because of course he is based off a machine in the Star Wars universe, similar to how General Grievous also took a considerable amount of time in the build of him. So I will say one other thing that's unexpected is the fact his height. He is quite a tall construction figure, even compared to others such as the other Star Wars ones, or perhaps even other Barnacle construction figures. He is quite tall. In fact, if I put him straight up, because you may notice his knees were bent at the beginning of this, that was simply to get him in shot. If I put him straight up, his chest and this kind of area comes up to the very height of the box. So if you ever see the box in stores, and of course the box is the same sort of size as many other construction figure boxes, he is quite a tall figure, easily dwarfing the box in size. Now, getting a closer look at him, there really is an awful lot in terms of the legs or the arms, moving mostly onto the torso, which is the majority of where the pieces are, and of course the helmet. The helmet has some very nice detailing here. We can see here the scorch marks and scratch marks, of course, because if you're unaware, he is an Imperial droid, which I believe the Rebellion stole and reprogrammed, probably. I'm not entirely sure. I've tried to stay away from as many spoilers as possible. Nonetheless, you can see the detailing here, very nice. The head, of course, is solid plastic, just as all the other heads are, and we can see some extra detailing here, like the sort of tubes and the pipes, very nicely looked down there. And in fact, you can even see if I take the helmet off, underneath there are even little tubing there, which is kind of nice. I'm glad they added that. I think it's tubing, or maybe it's just like the Lego logo or something. I'm not entirely sure. It looks kind of like tubing, but it's just a little extra detailing, which I'm glad they added. Nonetheless, on this side we do have some other different scratch marks, but nothing too special. We have this Imperial symbol here, and of course his eyes and his lovely face there. I will say, however, the box really portrays his eyes as glowing in that way, but they really don't, in all honesty. I've got to be honest with you. I mean, of course, I don't actually expect him to glow, but I don't know why. I feel like they should have put the same sort of white in his eyes as they did, say, for the Force Awakens trooper, because his eyes are more like a dark grey. That's just something I noticed when I built him, that his eyes really aren't as bright as you may think, considering that in the trays and all that, his eyes are quite bright white. Anyway, so his legs are fairly basic. There's a little bit of technique here. They didn't have to put technique, they could have just put a standard rod similar to this one for here, but they put a little bit of technique. I'm actually quite glad they did, because it does give him a bit extra detail, something I do quite enjoy, because I like the fact that he is a machine and does sort of give that more of a sort of, you know, mechanical feel, like all these parts working together. That's also the reason I very much like General Grievous as a construction figure. I really feel that the machines work very good as construction figures, such as General Grievous, him, or maybe Battle Droid if they ever make that. The arms are slightly more mechanical as well. I've seemed to build it wrong, but still, his arms are slightly more mechanical as well. You can see here, these, I believe, are the same hilts in other lightsaber construction minifigures, such as General Grievous, or any other construction minifigure that use a lightsaber. They have these as hilts to their lightsabers, so that's a nice little addition there. But you can see on both arms we have the Imperial symbol. It's kind of scratched out a little. That's probably from all the battles he's been in, or maybe it's just because they tried to scratch it out because of course he's not Imperial anymore. But of course that is on both arms, which is very nice. We have on the back here, if I can get a shot, these piping things. This is actually a sword, if I can pull it out properly. Anyway, this is a sword piece, which normally minifigures would hold, but of course they changed it to turn into an antenna. I really like that feature. I like the fact they're using it for that, because I think it looks very well. And of course we have here a gear function, which they've also put into side of antenna, and from the back it does look nice. It looks very nice, by the way. So yeah, we have here a couple of stickers on the chest plate. I'm not a massive fan of these stickers, of course, but mainly because they are so small. If anything, if for some unknown reason, I seem to like stickers more if they're larger, because it seems more plausible. For smaller stickers, I think, wow, you really could have, you know, printed it. But still, it's not the biggest issue. There we have it. But yeah, as you can see, a fair amount of technique behind here. One of the things, and I would say the main feature, I suppose, is the fact he actually comes with a play function, because you may have noticed his arms are quite flimsy in terms of they're not really fixed in place very well. That is not just bad building by Lego, and it's not just that I built it wrong. This is, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe this is the very first construction minifigure, not minifigure, sorry, and he stopped calling it that, the very first construction figure to have a play function of some sort. But again, correct me if I'm wrong, this is not the only one. I'm sorry, I do not have all of them. Anyway, so it's similar to, I don't know why, for some reason I think of Buzz Lightyear when I think of this, but you can have it where the arms kind of flip, almost like that. What you do, you see the back here, this is a different colour for a reason. It's not just the fact they were just a bit weird, because there's a lot of black on this figure. Anyway, you can see there is some piping. I'm trying very hard to try and get this in shot, by the way. It's a very large minifigure. Sorry, stop calling it minifigure, Josh. Anyway, sorry, so you push this in, try to push it in properly, and you can see, if I can do it, come on. I can't do it properly, I'm sorry. Okay, push it in properly, and they should both move at the same time. I'll just do it like this. You know, you can see they both move at the same time, like so. Or you can just do it by one, like, you know, do that arm, or you just do that arm. Very simple, very nice. That's kind of cool, isn't it? Looks like a dancing. But nonetheless, the reason he reminds me of Buzz Lightyear is because, almost in one sense, he puts his fist like that. You can have it so he sort of punches a guy, and you like, kind of stuff like that. But yeah, that's just me being immature. I don't know why, for some reason I really love reviewing construction figures as opposed to other sets, because it's just so fun to review and just to hold, really. Nonetheless, very nice torso, of course. The detailing, I think, really is what makes it stand out. And of course, the actual play feature does mean there has to be a lot of technique, but even without that, I think a lot of technique here does really add to the figure, because I think it does look very nice. As I've said in a few other things, I'm not a massive fan of the sets which have a ton of technique. I really love the sort of brick built type things. But when it comes to construction minifigures, stop calling them minifigures, I'm so sorry. When it comes to construction figures, I really do think it suits him, and he is very nice. Now, again, give him a quick comparison to the Force Awakens figure. You can see he's considerably taller. If I just try to straighten him out, he is significantly taller than this guy, and he's got his knees bent so badly, quite frankly. He is... Whoa, he is so much taller, it is ridiculous. I mean, I would say, if I properly straighten him out, the head, as in the helmet of the Force Awakens person, would probably come up to maybe here on him, or so. I'm not entirely sure. That's probably the height he would reach. So yeah, he's a very tall... It's mostly his legs, of course, which make him this height, which is accurate, by the way, because he is a very tall character in the Star Wars universe. I mean, as you can see, the reason I bent them in the first place is because I put them fully up. You cannot see his head. So, yeah, he is a very tall person, really. Although, just doing a quick comparison to General Grievous, if I can get him in shot, of course, he's completely dwarfed. Oh, wow. These guys are so tall, you can't even see how much dwarfed he is. But to put into context, his head comes up to, like, here on General Grievous. So, yeah, compared to General Grievous, who is just so tall, I can't even... Hang on. Okay, there we go. He's so tall, going to get him a shot. You can see there, height, significant difference. And, of course, compared to a Force Awakens trooper, just there's no competition. General Grievous is a freaking beast. Still, that's my review of the, what is this? What is this? K-2SO. I'm so sorry, this review seems a bit haphazard. Nonetheless, that's my review of K-2SO. Very nice figure, very much enjoy him. But before I go into my conclusion, let's go into the instructions of the box and then conclude my review. I'm sorry, I just always love to play with them. It's an addiction, I'm so sorry. The instruction manual is quite simple, the same sort of size we've got in other construction figures. Moving straight to the back, of course we have GeneralJSmith and K-2SO in the back there, very nice. I believe that's how you pronounce her name, by the way. I'm so sorry, I don't actually know. I think it's GeneralJSmith, right? I'm sorry. Anyway, so we have also the 3 construction figures we were getting in this line. The other one I want to get is the Dark Trooper, or Shadow Trooper. I'm afraid I don't know what it's called. The bad guy trooper, more or less. I think he does look very badass. Of course, a lot of black, similar to K-2SO right there. Of course, we have the 3 there. I believe you can add on pieces or something? I'm not entirely sure what that is. Does that mean you can combine them? No, sorry, that's just a little thing to show that how to build it or something. I don't entirely know. Anyway, so 1 page inventory, of course, pretty simple. We have there in the back the action as I was showing. You can push it in, you know, move side to side. Pretty simple. Of course, it is a simple function, but still very nice to get a function of some sort. 43 pages of build, 56 steps, very simple of course, pretty small thing, as I said, less than 200 pieces, so quite simple. Nonetheless, let's go now into the box. The box, as I've stated with many other parts of this figure, is considerably similar to other construction figures we have got. Of course, the box itself is the same sort of size. You can see on the back, which I didn't realize before, it says 29 centimeters, so I believe that is the height. So if you're in school, I suppose, a good comparison, if you have 30 centimeter long rulers, he's pretty much the same height as that, which is quite long for a construction figure, but nonetheless. Down below, of course, we have the 2 other construction figures. I think I've said this before, and this is something a lot of other reviewers have said before as well. I'm not a massive fan of the construction figures with the actual faces, such as some of the Jedi or GeneralJSmith, because they just look too much like dolls, quite frankly. I don't like it, and well, I'm just not a big fan of it. However, they can master helmets and sort of face plates, if you will, very well. So that is why this figure and that figure do look very nice as well, because Lego is good at that. You can see on the back there the features, as I was talking about, of course. You can move in to make both of the arms go inwards, and to make them move side to side, you can move the thing side to side. But for a bit of a size comparison, we have the helmet on top there. Very nice. But, yeah, simple figure. I'm not sure what the background is. Some sort of action place? Some sort of, you know, battle scene, I suppose. Nonetheless, I believe he's the only construction figure to come without a weapon, so that's pretty cool. And that is a very nice shot right there, of course, on the side of, you know, him kind of kicking some ass. Nonetheless, that is the box, K-2SO. Let's go now and conclude my review. Thank you for watching my review of the construction figure K-2SO. Despite the fact this review was a little unorganized, as many of my construction reviews seem to be, I will say this construction figure is definitely up there with one of the best. Of course, I don't buy that many construction figures, and I certainly don't review that many, so I wouldn't say I'm a massive expert on them, but relatively speaking, I would say he is a good figure to adapt, a good character to adapt into a construction figure, because I do feel he fits it quite well. As I've said before, many of the droids and just robotic figures in Star Wars would suit construction figures quite well, because I don't think Lego has truly mastered making good faces as of yet. Nonetheless, a very nice construction figure, definitely one of the tallest ones, and I'm a big fan of basically the bigger the better, quite frankly. I'm also a big fan of the color black, so really all in all, a pretty nice figure for someone like me. Now, I understand construction figures aren't that popular relative like to the regular sets, but overall, he is fairly cheap considering many other construction figures have been more expensive. I think General Grievous was like £30 or something, I don't even remember, but many of them went for like £25. In fact, I was a little surprised he was only £20. So I will say, if you have some money spare, I suppose, say you've got all the sets you particularly want, and you're thinking if you really want to buy a construction figure of some sort, he is definitely a good way to start. I'm not sure how much of a main role he'll have in the new film, but hopefully he will be quite main. He seems like he's a fairly main character, because we have seen him a fair amount in the in the trailers. So I look forward to seeing him in action. But yeah, so I hope you enjoyed my review. Again, I'm sorry if it was a little unorganized, but you know, what you're going to do really. I just love playing with the construction figures just too much, quite frankly. Nonetheless, that is it to my review. I hope you'd enjoy it, as I said for the 3rd time now, and I would say worth picking up if you're into construction figures. If you have some money left over, I wouldn't say he's a massive purchase to go out right now and buy, although saying that, he might go down a little for Christmas in terms of price, but I don't think he'll go down that much, because as I've said, £20 I think is a reasonable price for this sort of a construction figure. If anything, I would expect to be a little more expensive, but nonetheless, so yeah, if you want to get him, I recommend getting him now or Christmas or whenever. He's not a massive priority, but nice to have, basically. Anyway, thank you guys for watching for the 4th time, and I will see you in my next review, which will be on the hover tank. Very excited for that. Bye, troops.